What is going on, guys? Welcome to our Finance Tuesdays. I hope you're doing well. We're going to be talking about the three financial traps that you want to avoid in your 30s. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So, the first trap that you want to avoid is not having a career path or having a plan in mind. And the reason why you don't want to delay this because as you get older in life, well, you need to make sure you have something in play. If you delay this process, well, guess what's going to happen? When you find something you enjoy, you got to learn that skill. So it's very important in your 30s that you figure out what you want to do. Obviously, you still want to explore other things. I'm not saying not to be creative or seek other opportunities, but when it comes to your career, find something that would just produce income. You could look into sales, you could look into marketing, you can also look into being a nurse, a doctor, and other career opportunities so you can bring in money. Because the first thing you got to do is just make income. That's the most important thing. If your career isn't producing income, then it's not going to be the best path right now because you're delaying the opportunity to make money right now. It's very important because as you get older, you have less energy and you become more tired, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you don't have enough to retire with. You don't want to be in a position where you can't build financial freedom. Those aren't good ideas. So the first thing you got to do is make sure you have a career in play or head towards that direction because your 30s are very critical. And I will also say this: focus on 2 to 3 things at a time. Have your 9 to 5 and then do another thing at night, whether it's YouTubing, podcasting, whether it's another sales job or another side hustle. Make sure that's your second focus. Don't stretch yourself too thin because you're in your 30s now and time is more important than ever before because 40s is right around the corner. It's so important to make sure you don't fall for that trap of, oh, I'll do that later. I'll figure it out as I go through my 30s. Like, be intentional with your time. Don't just keep wasting it away because you're going to wake up in your 40s and go, what am I going to do with my life? I got to figure out retirement. I got to figure out what I want to do for a job. That is a tough position to be in. You don't want to be scrambling. So I would just take this opportunity to develop a career and stick with it and find a side hustle or something you care about and build that on the side. The next trap you want to avoid is staying in consumer debt or student loan debt. I see a lot of times people will set up these payments that, oh yeah, I'll just pay it off down the road. And I'm thinking to myself, you should make strides right now to pay it off even faster because what's going to happen is as you get older, you're going to have a house. If you get married, well, you're going to have kids. That's more money taken away from you. So instead of delaying those debts and having minimal payments, make an effort each year just to pay it down. You could set a goal for, let's say you have a $50,000 federal loan debt. Well, make a goal to pay off $10,000 a year. And in 5 years, you pay it all off rather than just delaying it. Avoid consumer debt. That's another thing that people get into is credit card debt. They get into these car loans that are out of their price range. And when you're in your 30s, you don't want to be making these decisions because it's going to have a long-term effect on your finances because you have to pay this back. And by the time you're out of this cycle, you're going to be in your mid 40s. You're like, man, I should have just taken care of this a lot sooner. So I would just say don't be okay with being in debt. Find a way to get out of it as soon as possible and just be intentional with your finances. Sacrifice the short term opportunities that are in front of you. If people want to go on vacations with you, they want to expend this extra amount of dollars, just say, hey, I don't have it right now. I got to prioritize other things and be okay with just saying no for a while because you got to think about your long-term financial well-being. It's very important to have a long-term perspective of finances because if you don't and you're living in this, I only live once, I'm going to do whatever I want, it's going to have some negative effects as you continue to get older and you look at your finances, you go, man, I really need to take care of this. And now you're scrambling, you got this debt and it's still hanging over you. So I would say pay off your debt and don't delay it or extend it out. Just knock it out piece by piece. And the last trap you want to avoid is not saving on a monthly basis. My ideal goal is to save 40% a month of my income. And the reason why I say that because you have to be prepared for circumstances that are going to happen out of your control. Medical expenses, unemployment, you're going to have kids getting sick, you're going to have car breaking down, house repairs. All this stuff is going to happen out of nowhere. And if you don't have the funds available, well, guess what? You're going to borrow with a credit card and that sets you backwards. So I would just stress the importance of saving money right now in your 30s. If you're not married, what I would say to you is save a lot of it. Like I would say shoot for 40 to 50% if you can, because you don't want to be in a position where you don't have any money in emergencies. And if something does happen, you aren't at least prepared for it. If you lose your job, you want to have at least 6 to 12 months of your expenses taken care of while you look for work because it could take some time to find something in your industry. You don't know what changes are going to come. You don't know what's going to happen. So just be prepared for that. You might not see the importance of it right now, but let's just say you're in a situation where you have a $5,000 medical bill and you could have been saving this whole time to at least be in position or close to it. And now you got to pay all that back with your credit card. And it's a vicious cycle because if you don't learn to save on a monthly basis, well, guess what? You're going to use that credit card. You're going to borrow to take care of whatever is in front of you. So get out of that habit and start saving right now to avoid these circumstances, or at least prevent the damage from being worse. That's why you want to save and be intentional on it, because $1,000 is not enough. It's just not. It's not going to get the job done. Get to a point where you can save 40% of your income. That's where we talk about getting out of debt. That's why you want to build skills that produce income, because if you have those things in place, well, guess what? You can save more money. Instead of just pushing it to the side and waiting until you're in your 40s or 50s, and then you have to scramble around, save your money so you have enough for retirement. Start now. Get serious about your money. Save, save, save. That way, if something does pop up, you're at least in position to take care of it and it doesn't catch you off guard. You can keep on moving forward with your finances. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Thanks for sticking to the end. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Love to hear your thoughts on how you're avoiding these traps, and I'll see you in the next one.